What's your problem with the packed lunch? Nice, healthy sandwich, piece of fruit.
Oh, if only.
Bottle of fruit juice.
If that was the average packed lunch, I'd be absolutely happy. But it's not. We've done a lot of work on this, and it's true that there are some mums who do it really, really well. But most people don't. They fill the lunch boxes with junk, frankly. Or even, you know, to be honest, if I was doing a packed lunch, I'd be very tempted to put in some little treat. But a treat should be once a week, not every day. And it's just very difficult. I think we should ban packed lunches, but it has to be in combination with teaching children about food, with a real effort from the school, so that we need to teach children at school to eat healthily.
Wait, can I just ask about treats? You seriously think we should only have a treat once a week? Once a week?
Well, it depends what the treat is.
We're talking about, for instance, a chocolate biscuit.
Well, yeah, no, I would say a chocolate... depends. But I think if you have more than one sweet thing a day, you probably are adding another 400 calories to your... And I'd rather that those calories weren't there. I mean, I don't know how often, but certainly what we need... I'm not saying anything is bad. Chips aren't bad. Chocolate isn't bad. You just don't want it all every day.
Unquestionably, Sian, we have a situation where something needs to be done with the obesity crisis, particularly young people. And actually, is what Prue's saying so ridiculous? Because we've got a couple of examples of packed lunches.
The good and bad.
The good and the bad. This is the bad. It's got a packet of crisps, a fizzy drink. It's got chocolate. It's got, these treats, small Haribo, and
three treats in one
kind of a cheesy pizza rather than a
We seem to have got
sandwiches.
our hands on Laura Tobin's packed lunch.
Yeah, that's clearly what that is. And the healthier one, sandwiches, fruit, some carrots, carrot sticks. These can't go in there because you can't have nuts in them. But actually, maybe as outrageous as some people might be, the suggestion that you have to bang packed lunches, something needs to be done, doesn't it?
I think something does need to be done. I think Prue's absolutely right about that. I mean, we've got 1 in 3 of our children are leaving primary school obese, and that is a real problem. But I don't think banning packed lunches is the answer, I'm afraid, because the real problem, and I think Prue would agree with me on this, is that a lot of school food is still absolutely terrible. I mean, you showed me that packed lunch with the little pizza there. Well, I go to schools a lot and I get offered school dinners a lot. And just in the last week, I have been offered fish fingers in Baps. I have been offered margarita pizza, just like that one. I've been offered fried fish in batter, and I've been offered sausages. These are all on school menus in schools and regularly, and that's not healthy food.
We saw Jamie try and tackle this, didn't we? He tried really hard, and no one's more passionate about trying to educate and help young people.
Honestly, it's not impossible. I was at a school, the Mercia School in Sheffield is a secondary school, which is really more difficult even than primary. And that school, they have no lunch boxes. The children bring nothing into school. The food is absolutely delicious. They've got a very good chef.
Have they increased their budget?
No, they're £2.20 is what it costs.
Per head?
Per head, for school lunches, but they get breakfast as well. They get breakfast, drinks, and that for £2.20. The teachers sit down with the children at school. They're taught to cook, they're taught about sustainability, and the whole food is a priority in the school.
Sian, I wonder how £2.20 compares to the average school meal budget, because that sounds quite a lot.
No, £2.20 is about right, that is.
But so how come, then, other schools aren't providing the same quality of food?
Because they don't have...
kitchens often, do they?
They don't have kitchens, good enough kitchens. They don't have... we need a lot of investment in schools. They don't have very good kitchens. There is a huge lack of food, of chefs. You can't get good cooks. And there are very few food teachers. They're not teaching... you're meant to teach children to cook at school, but only, I think, 40% of schools don't do that.
Sian, one of the other problems that lots of students report is that if they go to the lunch hall at lunchtime, the queue is so long that actually they've wasted most of their break.
Christina said on Facebook, my son went without lunch yesterday because of massive school dinner queues. Banning packed lunches will cause absolute chaos.
No, it won't, because it is not just banning packed lunches. You have to do the whole thing right. If children sit down and they have a different healthy meal every day and there's no choice, what causes the queues is a long cafeteria.
That's true.
And children queuing at it.
John, is that...
They can also
yes.
stagger, a good school, a good big school will stagger the school lunches so that they don't have to queue.
Yes, it's a combination of things. It's about organisation, and it's about not having these cafeteria-style menus where kids can choose, because that causes a lot of delay. But I just think at the end of the day, it's parents' job to educate their children to eat healthily, and not schools' job. I think schools have got so much on their plates. They're supposed to be teaching children to read and to write and to do sums, and taking on responsibility for, you know, fat children is not really their job.
Do you
agree with you.
Prue, we haven't got very much time, but I can imagine people saying, do you not see some conflict in your role as a host of a programme which is all about cake?
It's what it is, yes. Of course, there's a very obvious one, that there I am, sugar every day. Most people get into cooking through baking.
Is that true?
Yes, you start with a brownie or cupcakes, or usually brownies are the first thing people cook. And that's the best way to interest people in cooking at all.
So
and
we
once
can't reduce people to a treat a week, because then they wouldn't cook a full Sunday roast.
I never said you should reduce people to a treat a week.
You did.
I
You said it at the
said
beginning.
mother shouldn't put a treat into the lunchbox every week. They're going to get dozens of treats at home. We know that.
Oh,
we're trying to just make lunch. I want to see lunch as a lesson. And to your point, I agree. Schools are very overloaded, but if you
That's
think
an interesting
about
idea, the lunch being a lesson.
Yes,
because the only thing I'd say, my experience is from my boys at the moment. My eldest, who's at a big secondary school, the only time he has off during the day, because it's really busy, is his lunch break.
Yes, exactly.
So if
And
I
it should
turned
be
around
a
to him and say,
pleasure.
Sam, you're going to have to now sit through an hour's lunch lesson.
No, you don't understand. Listen, let me describe.
So you don't mean that?
I do mean that it should be part of a lesson. In Finland, the children sit down, they have lunch, everybody has the same lunch. They're taught a lot in geography about food. They're taught about sustainability. The whole thing is very organised. The children don't know that it's a lesson, but actually they're sitting down with their teachers, which is what happens in Sheffield as well. They're sitting down with their teachers and they're learning, dare I say
Okay,
it,
so it's not like they have to
manners.
sit there for 40 minutes and then they get to go up. They can still eat quickly and get out.
No, it
'cause
should
that's
be
all they want to do is go
relaxing.
in.
It should be relaxing. It should be a completely different atmosphere from the rest of the day, but it should be healthy. And children learn amazingly quickly. I mean, those children going into the Mercier School in Sheffield, they all come from very poor backgrounds, and when they arrive, they would be horrified. But the head teacher talks to the parents, explains to them. If you're a parent and I said to you, look, if you let this happen, you don't give me a lunchbox, but I will feed your child really delicious food, and in a week he'll love it, and he'll copy what all the other boys do, and you won't have to go to the supermarket and have him nagging, can I have that in my lunchbox? You won't have to get up and make lunchboxes. Wouldn't you say yes?
I think it's admirable, but you know, Prue, you have been fighting this battle for 40 years.
I know.
Jamie Oliver has been trying to fight it. Henry Dimbleby has been trying to fight it. Well, we're not getting very far.
Keep fighting the good fight, I think. And frankly, I don't know why you haven't won the battle, Prue, because if you told me to do anything, I would just literally do it. Thanks both very much indeed.
Lots of you getting in touch. This girl on fire says, Prue, come on, I send my kids to school for dinners. They get pizza, burgers, chips and nuggets. I send them with a sandwich, fruit, yoghurt, crisps or biscuit. It's the lifestyle you need to tackle, not the snacks. Prue needs to understand that not all schools can provide safe meals for all allergy sufferers. Why isolate these kids? School meals are not a healthy alternative. So banning the packed lunch.
If you do a nut roast, for instance, as a main course, and you don't give people options, that's going to be a problem, isn't it?
All I can tell you is that school in Sheffield has, you won't believe this, but they have a vegetarian menu except for 2 days a week where they have fish, because fish is very good for the brain. But it is vegetarian menu, and the children love it. Just you do a piece on that school, and you will.
Sounds like we need to go there for lunch.
Yeah.
Prue, Sean, thanks both very much indeed.